Hi everybody, Brian here from quantlabs.net. Okay, so we got a question here. I've done one of these in a long time. Let's talk. I'm going to probably break out into other answers for this. First off, hi Brian. I've read blah 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 video. I was wondering, are there any codes on GitHub where one could execute an indicator for MT4 or TradingView via Java, or instead executing orders, receiving buy-sell signals via SMS from an MT4 or TradingView indicator via Java or SMS. Okay, very important to understand, where's the data coming from? What broker is the data coming from when you use MT4 or MetaTrader 4? Where's the data coming from for on TradingView? Because that's very critical. It doesn't matter where you get it, if it's on GitHub, pulling out of your friend's ass, it don't matter. What matters is that what you choose is your broker. And that's what I'm going to diverge on that in a minute. But let's just assume you go with broker X, whatever that broker is. Your market data, it's very critical you understand this. The market data has to be exactly the same data that you will execute your trades on. If they're not synced, you will have probably potential slippage, you'll have probably potential all kinds of things out of sync and is not consistent. Some of the data that you see can be held back by a few seconds, and those few seconds, from my experience, if you're in a very fast-moving asset and the swings of the moves are wide enough, those seconds really matter, because if you put on trades on your closes and you have certain targets and those swings move faster than how your algorithm or your trading strategy can keep up to date, you will miss out and you will lose money pretty badly. Will it happen enough? I can't say. It depends on your broker. But I will say this. Why bother trading like that? Meaning, why would you trade with a different, getting data from a different source and then trading with execution on a different broker? Doesn't make sense. You need to make sure, and I'll say it again, you need to make sure that your market data that you use to make your judgment on using your strategy or algorithm has to come from the same data source that you will be trading on. If it's not going to work. So again, where does the data come when it comes from TradingView or MetaTrader 4 or MT4? So that is very important. So if you can use a broker, make sure you use the market data and trade with that same broker on that same data. In my case, I'm using Binance, and the data source that I'm using obviously is only going to be Binance on top of trading and setting orders on Binance. So it's the same. And there can be trading opportunities with an arbitrage between exchanges with Bitcoin that can happen. I don't want to ever trade like that because it's not consistent. I like consistent profit to remove volatility and have crazy profits and at the same time crazy losses for no explanation of the loss. So that's why I focus on all the daily targets that I'm working on with my last video. So let's talk about the brokers. This is a very important trend I'm noticing. So when you come into Oanda versus Dukas Copy, because this video, if you know, will be about Dukas Copy. Let me just pull this up here. Open hyperlink. So just see what this video is about. So yeah, he's using Dukas Copy with a Java example. Okay, so if you're going to use Dukas Copy, you need to trade with Dukas Copy. But here's what I'm noticing when it comes to Dukas Copy. Now, I have talked about Oanda, Dukas Copy, all these different brokers. So let me go into the Alexa ranking of all websites online. Now, this is not accurate, but it just gives you a rough idea of how things are working. When you look at Dukas Copy and you see the Alexa ranking is dropping, has been dropping for almost the last year, 30,000, now it's down to 45,000. So it's essentially telling me that they've lost roughly about a third of their audience. Maybe, well, actually, I don't know. I'll say 30 to 50% of their audience has been lost. Not a good trend for a broker. So when you start looking at brokers like Oanda, even though I don't like them, they're still holding their own at 3,000 to 4,000 ranking, which is pretty good. Then when you look at Interactive Brokers, now I want you to remember this number here at 4,000. Okay, but with Interactive Brokers, you think they'd be more popular, and they're not. They only peak at this number. So what can we take away from this? Number one is Dukascopy. Why is Dukascopy losing traffic or potentially volume or number of customers or whatever? I think it is because their technology is only Java only, and as a result, most people have moved off of Dukascopy, looking for new opportunities with other languages, specifically with Python. So because of that, I think that's one of the big reasons why they're losing that market share, you could call it, because of that. And people want to trade machine learning specifically. A lot of it's driven in Python. So people are now looking for brokers, maybe in Python, maybe in Forex, maybe in CFDs. They may be looking for Python supported brokers. So Oanda is one of them. I personally have played with it. The Oanda API is fairly good. I prefer the FXCM, but we know the story with FXCM. FXCM is actually better, but Oanda, you can get around, you can do things with it, and it's doable. Okay. Now you've also heard me probably talk about Oanda with the stop losses and how they can cheat you, and because they're not an ECN like Dukascopy. That is true. There's two reasons why I'm going to move to Oanda and support Oanda using the exact same trading logic that I have for my cryptocurrency. Oanda is number one, as I've shown you on the Alexa ranking. Oanda may be okay to start with to test out your Forex and your CFDs. If you have been on my Facebook group, you'll know that a lot of the stories that I push on my Facebook group are either metal, it's usually commodity based, meaning gold, some silver, oil, natural gas, and very rarely agriculture. Those are what moves the markets, and trading those are going to hopefully get you into a better position as the markets come off in terms of stocks and move into other areas like, as I said, oil, totally outside of stocks. Oil moves you into headline news, driving, gold, also with the Fed. So you can also trade the gilts, the bunds, and the treasuries through the CFD product. Is it a great product or a great asset to trade? Is it perfect? No. But it will at least get you into a defensive mode when things go crazy. And you can also diversify your assets outside of metal and into treasury. And you can also somewhat trade into faster or better moving indexes based upon country or region. So, for example, if the U.S. is hot with the stock market, you trade that, and you can only trade the indexes that Oanda provides. Or Japan may be good, or maybe Germany may be good. So you have that capability, or UK is another example. So you have quite a bit of diversity with these CFD products. They're not the best, but it's a good way to trade, and as I call it, the poor man's doorway or gateway, poor man's gateway to the pricey futures market. So that's the strategy. And then we get into Interactive Brokers. You may or may not have seen that Interactive Brokers now supports Python. So that's good. They do that for competitive reasons, I really feel. As you can see by the numbers of Oanda, and I could probably pull up FXCM, even though they've been removed from the United States. Where's the index thing? There we go. So if I look at the FXCM, where are they at? So yeah, they got clobbered all the way back down because they've been booted out of the US. So back to Interactive Brokers. If you've seen my video on where Interactive Brokers is at with the stock, like with Python support, it's there and not very good. But there's other packages that you can get off of GitHub to help make life a lot easier. So that's a nice, really nice broker. Problem is, you need $2,000 to get the market data, and it comes back to the original question of here. So that's always an option. So that's why I'm going with Oanda for now. And then just want you to be aware of a new broker coming down the line called Alpaca. They look interesting. They have been talked about. Let me just pull that up right here. Alpaca Brokers. These guys are looking good. $0, 0 commission free, no minimum deposit. And when you look at, I haven't played with it yet, but when you look at Alpaca on the GitHub side, they're doing it right, just based upon what I'm seeing here at Alpaca. So if you go to the GitHub repository for Alpaca, you will see that there is Python support. So this will be a very interesting broker to watch on the stock side as well. So here you go. Here's the Alpaca Python. Now I haven't tested it to see if it works or not, but this will be fairly interesting now that these guys are out. So you could trade equities or stock, but in terms of is it just US only, or is it international with some exchanges, and specifically is it just stocks? Like, that's what I'm after. But this is a new broker to be on the lookout for. I've heard good things about them. If the API is good and easy to work with on the Python side, which I'm hoping it is. Let's see. We need some good examples here to really make it useful for people. If it's just this wonky dictionary business, I don't think they'll get a lot of support. But if they can really rapidly improve that, that will put Alpaca as a formidable competitor against Interactive Brokers. And I think that's one of the reasons why they got rid of the $10,000 requirement, because Interactive Brokers knows that if they have the proper Python support, they don't have minimum requirements, and they have no commission fees, it will be brokers like Alpaca that will give them a run for the money. So hopefully, I know it's quite a long-winded question here, but again, coming back to just a simple answer, you need to get the market data from your broker, and whatever broker you trade with, make sure you use the same market data, because you're going to run into all kinds of weird problems. And out of the gate, I'd rather have you do that than do it out of sync with data from this source and trading with this broker. Doesn't work. I haven't seen it, and that's what the pros tell me, and I believe it. That's what I'm telling you. Over and out.